Hello and welcome to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name's Caleb.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this week we talk about Magic Keys coming back on sale.
Splash Mountain closing in May.
And we share our top 5 Disneyland ride vehicles. Let's dive in. All right, and this is episode number 79. And like always, very excited to get this week's episode started.
Yes, everyone, welcome back.
Welcome. We have been doing pretty much the same thing this past week, so we're not going to bore you with the details, but we have been watching a lot of baseball.
Yes.
We're big St. Louis Cardinals fans in this household, and they haven't been playing the best baseball in the world, which has been frustrating to say the least. We actually just wasted 2.5 hours of our weekend watching them lose.
It was an unfortunate event.
Yeah, it's frustrating. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Hey, last time we did tell people we were going to see John Mayer,
We did.
and then update, we went to see him, and it was
Amazing.
amazing as always. We've seen him like 4 or 5 times. He's fantastic.
There's quite a few of you guys there as well. I was getting some messages.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I'm here.
Oh,
Or,
that's
my
so
friend
cool.
is here. Or, da, 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 da.
Oh, that's
So-
neat.
Yeah, it was so great to see him, and he just has such an incredible voice. And it was a unique tour because he was by himself, so he didn't have the band. So being able to experience that was pretty awesome because
Yeah.
we try and see him as much as we can because we just love him.
Talented individual. And lastly, we cheated a little bit. We had some leftover Trader Joe's gluten-free pumpkin pancake mix in the pantry.
gosh.
And I said, you know what? Let's live a little. Let's have some pumpkin pancakes in spring.
It was, okay, first of all, it was so amazing because what I really love about that mix is it's not like pumpkin is like smacking you in the face when you eat them.
Yeah.
Because you know sometimes you eat pumpkin pancakes and you're like, it's just
It's
pumpkin.
overwhelming.
It's just like a slight hint of pumpkin, which I love. And it was just so nice.
It was really good.
And they are honestly really good pancakes in general. They're just so fluffy, especially for gluten-free. So that was a fun treat. And I'm so excited for fall.
I know. We've got a little ways to
Just
wait.
a little bit.
Yeah, we got to get through the middle of summer here. It's going to hit us quick. We've had actually some amazing weather, so I'm not complaining. But I know pretty soon here it's going to get uncomfortable and like 95 degrees
Yeah.
at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, before we dive into the news and all that fun stuff, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Really big help to the show. And a 5-star rating also helps. So difference between a rating and a review, the rating's just the star system on Apple Podcasts at least, and Spotify. They both have rating systems. So if you go scroll down and find those stars and you click 5, that helps the show a ton. And then purely on Apple, for some reason Spotify doesn't have this feature, if you leave a written review in addition to that rating, that helps us even more. So if you've got a spare few minutes and you want to share what you think about the show, we would be so grateful for that. Again, huge shout out and thank you to everyone who's already done that. But again, it's just a giant help to the show, and it helps us show up in those search results a little higher up in that list.
It makes us just so excited when
It
they
makes
come
us
in.
happy.
'Cause
Yeah, it
I'm
makes
like,
us-
oh
yes.
my gosh.
It's very nice words you guys shared, and we really appreciate all the kind words. You can also support the show by using our Getaway Today link to book your Disney vacation. So you can save an additional $10 on a vacation package if you use code MARKETHOUSE10. So they'll not only save you some cash on your hotel booking and a few bucks on your tickets, but you'll save an additional $10 on top of that if you use that code. So we'll have everything linked in the episode description so we can save you a little cash on your next trip.
Yes.
All right, so did something a little different in this news segment. We're going to start off with a few Disneyland news stories, and then we'll move over to the East Coast. We've got them nice and sectioned off for you.
Yeah, because there's quite a few.
There's a lot of
this
news.
week, yeah.
Yes, there's going to be a little time spent on news this week. So first off, let's start with some Disneyland news. And the first news story is that Magic Keys are back on sale.
This was a huge surprise because normally, like in the past, we've seen, okay, a couple of them are coming back or the other ones are only up for renewal. But like this time, they all came back for anyone to purchase.
They did. So they surprised everyone and said, hey, we're going back on sale on April 11th. That was a few days ago. They opened every tier back up, like Caitlin mentioned. So last time, I think the Enchant was unavailable. But yeah, they just came out crazy and just said all of them are back on sale. All of them are sold out, it looks like, except for the Inspire Pass. So as of today, which we're recording on Saturday, April 15th, all of them are sold out except for the Inspire Pass from what I could find on the website. I can't see the lowest tier, which I always forget what that one's called. Imagine?
I think so.
Yes, because we're not SoCal residents, so it doesn't even give me the option to purchase it.
Okay.
So I couldn't see the status of that one. It's usually available only because, again, it's very limited, and I don't think it's a very popular pass because of how many restrictions there are. But anyways, for the general public, Inspire is the only one that's still available, and that is the $1,600 option with pretty much no blockout dates except for like 10.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting to me because I feel like that does say a lot. Because normally in past years when we had the AP pass, the top pass always went. Like that was just something, and I know it wasn't as expensive, but it's like people were just like, no, I want the top one. Like I go all the time.
But back then they didn't sell out. They didn't restrict purchases.
That's true. But I just feel like
but it was more popular, I guess.
I currently feel like it says a lot though for like that top tier because people are like, I'm not paying that.
That's a lot. It only makes sense, I think. It only makes sense for people that can, number one, you can do the math at home as to what makes sense for you and your family. If you've got 2 really long trips and it starts to make more sense, or 3 long trips. But I think it only makes sense for locals because at $1,600, you have to go a lot to break even.
Or just people who literally go like every other month for
Yeah.
like multiple days or whatever, and just want the availability of
True.
being able to go close to the holidays or going on specific weekends. Because like even with our pass, like we do run into that a lot where nope, can't go on the Saturday.
that's true.
So it's
a thing.
yeah.
Hey, let us know if you ended up purchasing one, if you were lucky enough to grab one before they sold out, or if you plan to in the future.
All right, next up, we finally have some official closure news. Splash Mountain is officially closing on May 31st of 2023.
Yes, so this is to make way for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We already know that Disney World has closed their Splash Mountain, and we were waiting to see what was the plan for Disneyland's version, and everyone was expected May. We kind of knew May was
Right.
the month, and Disney made it official by announcing, yes, the 31st is when it closes down. So that means the last day you can ride the attraction is May 30th.
Yes. So again, we are so excited about the new retheme. We are big Tiana fans in this house. Princess and the Frog is one of my favorite movies. So this can't come soon enough for me. And especially with the news that they just dropped about Mama Odie being introduced into the ride and all of that. I can't wait.
So they did release some more concept art, and it shows a scene with Mama Odie, and it looks like it takes place on the lift hill before dropping down the mountain.
Oh
or
my gosh.
Salt Hill, is that what it is? A salt mound?
I think it's a salt mine. Salt mine.
Something like that.
But in my mind, I'm just envisioning like her singing like Dig a Little Deeper, and you guys are getting ready to just go down the hill. I am just stoked.
I'm gonna rain on your parade a little bit, only because I'm a little worried that they're not gonna have original music because this is not related to the films.
Well,
remember, this takes place afterwards.
And my comment to that is I'm going to sing it,
Okay.
even if they're not playing it. And
Some people were concerned that this concept art looked like projections. People were concerned that this was just kind of a projection. I don't think so. I mean, my thoughts on it, it looks like it's going to be a animatronic, and I sure hope it is.
yeah, I do too. I don't see why they would do a projection.
Money.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I really hope they don't.
Same. We do know some folks that are making a special trip, which we're really jealous that this is happening. Johnny from the DMSW podcast is making the trip from the East Coast all the way to come over here to see the last few days of Splash Mountain being open, which is awesome. He sent us a message and was like, all right, see you down there. And we're like, we're missing it by a week.
We're just missing it.
Yeah.
So, which again, this is going to be a big meetup for the Chalk fundraiser that they've been doing for quite some time now. So again, if you are going to be around Disneyland around May 30th, please check out his Instagram page as well as Podcast Mics for Magic and just get the details on that of when they're meeting up. I know it's going to be a big fun day.
Yes,
so.
Which again, we're bummed we're missing out, but we will literally miss it by a week.
Literally.
And so if we had the time and funds to just stay down there for a week and a half, we totally would.
Yeah.
But we work for a living.
We can't do it.
Unfortunately, I wish I could totally skip out on that. But have fun if you guys are planning a trip. Let us know if you guys are going to sneak over there for a day just to catch one last ride on Splash Mountain. Let us know how it goes. We'd love to hear your experience of the last week of Splash Mountain's existence.
Yeah, and if you guys do go on that ride, you have to ride in the front. Do it for us. Get soaked.
Get
Just
soaked.
do it one more time.
Next up, we've got some fun Star Tours news, and this may be welcome news for you Star Tours fans or Tomorrowland fans, since we haven't had anything new in that part of the park for quite some time. So this announcement came from Star Wars Celebration in London, but it looks like we're getting some new scenes added to Star Tours in 2024.
Yeah, I think this is a great addition because it's really time for this ride to get a little
love.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been overdue, quite overdue for some time. It's a classic ride. I love it. I can't ride it anymore, unfortunately, because of motion sickness.
Same.
It messes me up.
But it's such a great ride, especially the queue.
It really is. Mm-hmm. It's a really fun ride. And, being the Rebel Spy and stuff, like being selected for that's fun. And it's all around a good ride. Again, we can make arguments about, does it make sense being in Tomorrowland anymore since we have Galaxy's Edge? Yes, you can make a legit argument for that. But at the end of the day, it's a fun ride.
Right.
So new scenes are definitely welcome. But speaking of Star Wars, they actually announced more movies with Daisy Ridley returning as Rey.
Yay! And I'm so excited.
That is a rare... I love that you responded that way. We're going to keep it positive, but a lot of diehard Disney fans, Star Wars fans, are a little upset because they want to explore other parts of the galaxy and they want to explore other different storylines.
Yeah.
But anyways, this one takes place 15 years after the last movie, where she'll be rebuilding the Jedi Order.
See, why wouldn't you want that?
I'm hoping they do a better job. We have to admit that the last movies were not very good.
I don't agree. And
sorry.
So this is coming from someone who is not a ginormous Star Wars fan. I couldn't tell you half.
Casual fan.
For some reason, I am obsessed with Rey. I love Kylo Ren, which we've talked about this before. And it has nothing to do with what they look like. Caleb's obsessed with thinking that I think Kylo Ren is like just the most attractive person ever.
I didn't say that.
I think you joked about it like one episode or something. But I love their characters and I love the storyline. Just to give you an idea, I did not like Rogue One, and Caleb thinks that I'm a crazy person.
You were going to upset a lot of people.
I'm just being honest. You know what? Market House family needs to understand. This is honest hour right now.
This is so bad.
But again, that's from me. I couldn't tell you half of Star Wars stuff. So I'm not claiming I'm some all around.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think people probably turned it off after hearing that.
You're almost like, you can get out.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so anyways, Star Wars, if you're big fans, they're making more movies, of course, because it is just a money-making machine, and we're getting some new Star Tours scenes.
All right, and then last up for our news for Disneyland, we have some extremely unfortunate news that we just found out about. As of right now, Sprinkles in Downtown Disney has officially closed forever.
Yeah, that's really sad. It came as a surprise. Tina, actually, a great Instagram friend of ours, she sent us a message and was basically like, no more cupcakes, sad face, and sent us the story. And we were crushed.
I'm so bummed.
This was a staple in our vacations. We stopped there at least 2 or 3 times to grab and share like a gluten-free cupcake or one of their chocolate chip cookies. Even talking about it right now makes me want it so bad.
Yeah, and it's also unfortunate because, again, for people with celiac, it was another unique treat that Caleb normally can't get inside the parks. Like, they don't have gluten-free cupcakes.
They don't have a lot for me.
Or, really they do have a chocolate chip cookie, but it's not the best. So it's kind of one of those things where right when we heard this, I'm like, oh, maybe it's just for a short time. And everyone's like, nope, it's making way for something else.
Yeah, so it looks like this is going to be taken over by those new Paseo, and I'm forgetting the names.
Oh, I am too. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, so 2 Mexican-style restaurants, I believe, are coming kind of upscale, elevated Mexican restaurants. One's taking over that on the left, Catal.
I believe, yeah.
And then that center area, that bar-only kind of seating stuff, that's going to be a different Paseo. I think so the 2 different names. And if I'm butchering those, let me know. But anyways, I think it's going to expand into that space. So nothing's really replacing it. Just the restaurant's going to take over that space.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I would say go run and get a cupcake, but they've already closed.
No, it was
the sign is down and everything. So
crazy. All right, and our final news story takes place over on the East Coast with Walt Disney World News. We've got a couple announcements for you to hopefully maybe help you plan your next trip out there.
Yeah.
But first up, we've got Epcot Food and Wine Festival starting July 27th and running through November 18th. That is one long festival.
It's a long festival, and also that's the one festival we haven't attended.
Really?
There. We've never, because we don't go usually July through November. We normally go earlier in the year or spring.
You're right.
So we've gone to, what is it, Flower and Garden?
Flower and Garden and the art one.
The art one, which both are amazing.
Both are great. Yeah, they do festivals out there really well. I think they started in Epcot. So we used to not have festivals out here on the West Coast.
Right.
And then they started doing them in DCA. But Epcot is the OG, and they always do a fantastic job with those festivals.
Yeah, and then next up, some even more exciting news. Animal Kingdom is actually celebrating its 25-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
Which is so crazy. So basically, they're going to be celebrating in the park. There's going to be, some in-park experiences as well as exclusive merch, new foods, and just all around, them. They're going to be...
It's a classic celebration. So
yeah.
it's basically exclusive merch, exclusive food, and some unique experiences sprinkled in there somewhere.
Yeah. So again, I wouldn't make a trip for it, but if you're going to be there, I'm sure it'll be great.
It starts April 22nd is when it officially starts. And hopefully this is like, maybe they'll announce Joe Rohde coming back to the company.
Oh my gosh. Oh, speaking of him, did you see that he's going to be doing an Adventures by Disney cruise, I believe, to Antarctica? And Disney actually was advertising like, hey, you can get on this with Joe Rohde.
Wait, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm assuming he'll do he's not just he's somehow like leading it, right?
The cruise?
Yeah. He didn't like just rent a cabin and they're like, oh, come see him.
But it was like, hey, come cruise with Joe Rohde.
What?
And I'm like, okay,
that's
I'm
awesome.
down because I'm like, I would love to do the Antarctica.
Yeah, let me just pull out $35,000.
I know. Well, hey, if you can, definitely do it.
Yeah, let us know if you're doing it. And if you want a couple people to tag along, let us know. All right. It's that time again. It is time for Disney Trivia. Caitlin, I don't remember the outcome of last time. It's been a few weeks since we've done this, but I have a feeling I think you won last time.
It's either I won or we tied.
Okay.
Because we always tie.
Yes. So this week, I plan on beating you, hopefully.
Wow.
And yeah, let's just get into it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Miss Caitlin, are you ready for my questions?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's get into this. First question is, in which Disney movie is Hopper a villain?
Bug's Life.
Okay. While I was asking it, I was like, this is probably too easy. But I was really excited to see a Bug's Life question listed somewhere, so I needed to ask it.
I love that movie. We just talked about that.
One of my favorite movies, if not probably my favorite Pixar movie.
It's so just... first of all, I don't feel like people appreciate that movie enough.
No, it gets lost a little bit in the mix. It's a fantastic movie, and you need to watch it again and come back to me and tell me what you feel. Okay. Good job. Caitlin, question number 2 is, what was the name of Walt Disney's first animation company that went bankrupt in 1923? You learned this at the Walt Disney Family Museum.
Can I have a hint?
No.
Okay. Well.
No, you got a really easy one. The first one, you don't get a hint. The name of his first animation company that went bankrupt in 1923. And when I say it, if you don't remember it, you're going to be like, oh, it's on merch. It's sprinkled throughout the park, I think, in a couple spots.
I don't know. I'm saying Walt Disney Studios. That's not correct.
No.
I have no idea.
Laugh-O-Gram Studios.
I have not ever even heard that.
Yeah, Laugh-O-Gram Studios.
Okay. Well,
that's all right.
That's a bummer. That's a good one. You know what, Caleb, you are so good at remembering little things like this, especially at the museum. He is just like a sponge, like for the little things. Me, however, not so much.
She's probably like, ooh, colors. Pretty colors.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go.
All right. Are you ready for your questions?
I think so.
Okay, the first one I think is a little tricky. What is the name of the castle in Shanghai Disneyland Park?
Why would you ask me that? I've never been to Shanghai.
Neither have I.
Really? It's not a multiple choice or anything?
No, because you didn't give me a hint.
Oh my gosh. Okay, is it like... It's a very generic name, isn't it?
I don't believe so.
It's not Cinderella's castle. It's not
one of those,
yes, no. I knew that. So is it like Disney's Enchantment Castle or something like that?
Okay, you're very close.
Right?
I'll let you do it one more time. You're very close.
It's not Enchantment?
No, but
Enchanted Castle?
I'll give you a hint. It has the Enchanted.
Enchanting.
No. It has the Enchanted in it.
Okay.
But you're missing one thing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Enchanted World Castle. I don't know.
No, it's the Enchanted Storybook Castle.
Oh.
Very close. I didn't know that one either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry about that.
Rude.
Okay. Next up, Who said fish are friends, not food?
Bruce.
Man, I thought you were going to say the shark.
Yeah, the shark.
Okay, this is like one that
Bruce.
that I saw like a Finding Nemo question, which Caleb loves Nemo.
I love Finding Nemo.
And so I'm like, I just have to throw this in because it's such a good
that's
one.
so hard. So the soundtrack of Finding Nemo is like on repeat in our household. It's just so good. It like again, I told Caitlin I'm absolutely amazed. Sorry, slight rant here. It blows my mind that I think it's Thomas Newman was able to replicate the sound of like it feels like you're in the ocean when you listen to Finding Nemo soundtrack.
I know.
Like how is that possible?
I remember seeing that movie in theaters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so good. I'm so bummed that we can't ride the submarine ride at Disney.
Oh yeah, it makes me so
sick. The submarine
sick.
voyage, because it's just such a pretty ride, but I'm like, we can't do it.
That and you're sharing the air of what, 20, 30 other people
Yeah.
in a
Aren't you like back to
death
back
tube?
too? It's like super
disgusting. I went on once. Someone convinced me to go on. I think it was a family trip when I was a kid.
tight. Yeah.
I hated it. Like I literally did not like it.
It'd be cool if you could be like, can I just have the whole thing to myself?
Yeah,
Like,
I would do
no.
it that way. Yeah.
You might be able to do it though, like around closing.
We just have to get
the last
really
hour.
famous and very wealthy, and I
Oh,
think we could
gosh.
probably have one to ourselves. All right, thank you for joining us for another episode or not segment of Disney Trivia. Let us know what you got right, what you got wrong.
Yeah, you're
And-
a winner.
No, we tied
Oh.
because I missed the first very hard question.
I felt like I wanted to give you the first one.
But yeah, let me know if you got that one right. If you knew Shanghai's castle, you are awesome.
That's a deep one.
That's a
Yeah.
deep cut. All right, and that brings us to our main segment of this week's episode, and that is our top 5 Disneyland ride vehicles.
Yes, I'm so excited for this one.
This should be fun.
Yes.
And I apologize if someone is out there and they're listening and they said, this sounds familiar, because I'm convinced we were supposed to either go on someone's show or they were supposed to come on to ours and talk about this. So they may be like, what's the matter with you? We were supposed to do this.
No, babe, no.
It sounds so familiar.
It's because I've been telling you about it for like
Okay,
a
maybe
month.
it's because you've been like, yeah. Like, can we please do this? And me being like, okay, we'll do it. Okay, so anyways, it sounds so familiar. I cannot wait to do it because I wanted to do DCA and Disneyland, and Caitlin said, nope, we're leaving it just to one, and we'll maybe share our 5 for California Adventure later.
Yeah, because I feel like combining the two, that would be extremely difficult.
I agree, because once I actually started getting into it,
It's hard.
it's rough.
Because it's a mixture of nostalgia and also, like I kind of had to throw in like how difficult it is to get into some of these
That's what I
vehicles.
thought, yeah.
And I'm like, and then its overall look. So there's a lot of things that you had to think about when trying to only choose 5 because there's so many different rides.
This is true. And let me tell you here, warning, there's no really scientific breakdown as to why we picked what we did.
Right.
So don't be like, you didn't consider this. It's just a fun comparison. We're going to share what we like about each. Yes, we did keep in mind like how hard it is to get in and out.
Right.
How many people can it get through? Like, can you only get one person in the ride versus 5, right? I consider kind of capacity as something to think about. So anyways, we thought it'd be fun to just dive in, share each other's lists, and see how they compare and contrast. And then at home, please send us, and we can do something on Instagram. We want to hear what your favorite ones are too.
Yes, please. That'd be fun.
Because these are like, half of the ride is sitting in the vehicle itself, right? If it's a bad vehicle, like it's just not fun. If they're boring, it detracts from the ride. They
Yes.
add so much character to a ride.
Right. I agree.
Okay, let's go into this. Caitlin, why don't you share number 5?
Okay, so my number 5 is something that I don't ride a lot. It was more of something that I would ride when I was very little, but it's actually the Dumbo ride. And, when I was kind of going through all the ride vehicles, this is something that just kept popping up in my head, and it's just nostalgic to me. Like when you see the Dumbo ride and you see that flying elephant just going through the air and the water beneath you, like as a kid I remember being like, this is so magical. Like, I get to sit on Dumbo.
Yeah.
I'm flying through the air. It's a ride vehicle that I feel like is always well kept. Like the paint is always nice on them. They're shiny. The ride always just looks so good. Again, you can't fit a lot of people on them, but there's just something about it. Like when you see it,
They're
I'm always
iconic.
like, there's just a really pretty vehicle
Yeah.
to sit in. So that's my number 5.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
My mind goes straight to the ads they had on TV all the
Yes,
time.
that's what I thought of as well.
Dumbo was always on the ads.
Right.
Yeah, and fun fact, I don't think I've been on it since I was maybe 2 years old in Disney World.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't think
I
I've
know I
ever
did.
been on Disneyland's version.
Yeah.
So, if you want to see a grown man on
Oh,
Dumbo,
we should do it next time.
we should do it.
Okay.
That is a solid choice.
Thank you. What's your number 5?
Yeah, no gripes about that one. My number 5 is actually Peter Pan.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one.
So this is a very unique design. The reason why I picked it, main reason, is that it's like a hanging monorail system. So that would blow my mind in the 50s when this ride was there, or 60s.
I don't remember when it
Was
opened.
it original? Oh gosh, I'm gonna get some hate
Oh, I don't know.
if I'm not right. I'm almost positive it's one of the OG rides. Oh gosh, Caitlin's gonna fact check me really quick. Let me just let me dive deep here and tell you.
1955, you're right.
I was right. Okay, good. So, anyways, I think this would blow my mind as a kid if I was like 9 years old and I'm like, wait, how is this a ride? And it's attached above and not
Well,
below.
you almost think that it's not going to be able to hold you
Right?
up, and like especially that scene when you go in the dark, and you're kind
Yes.
of like, oh my, in the
and
swoop.
and it swoops you, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
So again, being from 1950 something, 55, that is unbelievably amazing how they were able to do this type of technology back then. And I don't know, it just blows my mind.
It's almost like the early Soarin'.
Yeah, I'm sure an engineer out there is like, it's not that hard, dude.
But it's cool though, because
is
you
cool.
wouldn't think of that type of ride being back then. You'd think of one like on wheels
Yes.
or something. So
Now, I will say, so it lost some points because it's kind of hard to get in and out of, and the capacity is terrible. The loading times, the unloading times are horrendous with this vehicle. So not great in that aspect, but for just pure iconic and just, I don't know.
that's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go off basic just
overall.
nostalgia.
Yeah,
Yes.
because again, when are you ever going to go on a flying pirate ship like that? And it's
That is
like
true.
it's amazing. So.
Earliest memory I have of a Disney park is I went there. My family and I, we lived in Orlando for like 11 months back when I was 3 years old-ish,
Okay.
around there, 2, 3. And the earliest memory I have, we went to Disney World, and I remember going on Peter Pan and crying at when the alligator's down there, like mashing its teeth. And I remember like huddling and like closing my eyes, and my mom like rubbing my back, like, it's okay.
Gosh, you're like, no tunnels.
Yeah, but I remember being like, no, that alligator's
Aw,
not getting me.
It's scary.
Dun, 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 dun,
It's
dun,
so
dun,
good.
dun, dun. Yeah.
I'm like, we haven't been on that ride in a long time.
Yeah, because it's always like an hour and a half.
That's true. And it's just a hot wait.
Yes, and the switchbacks there, you're like on top of everybody. I
it's
don't like
true.
it.
Okay, so for my number 4, I decided to go with Alice in Wonderland because of the little caterpillars.
Yes.
That ride, again, we talked about it, I believe a couple episodes back. There is just something about it. Now, when you look at it, it's obviously just a grumpy caterpillar. But there's
caterpillar.
something about like when you see those ride vehicles, I mean, again, all the different colors of them. I always want to get like the pink one or the green one. But just seeing them kind of maneuver through, especially on the top story of the ride, it's magical. It really brings in the environment with the teacups next to you. And it's just like, it's fun. Like I always get excited when the cast member's like, okay, how many are you? Okay, there's either do one in the front, one in the back, or both in the back. Like I just get so excited to get on that ride. And again, there's just something so retro about that it's still on wheels and it like squeaks.
Yeah.
It's just, I love seeing them. And like even so much so, Caleb picked up a little figurine of Alice sitting in the Caterpillar ride vehicle, and we have it here in the office where we record. And it just makes me so excited to see it. I truly love that ride vehicle.
Yeah, it's a classic. And again, no complaints from me. I'm a little biased. It is my favorite ride.
Yeah.
So respect.
It's
for
my
it-
number 4.
For it making the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 for me is actually The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, okay.
And this is one where I'm like, do I even have to explain? Like, I think everyone agrees that this is one of the best ride vehicles out there. The movement in the ride, how it just kind of like,
The swing with
the
the wind,
swaying
the
and
water,
stuff.
yeah.
It's perfect. They're like, what are they, like honey pot things?
No,
What are they?
they're
Honeycombs. No, beehives.
beehives.
Sorry, I
the
couldn't
honey
spit it
pots
out.
are in Disney World.
Honey pots are in Disney World. So yeah, these are beehives, and they've got like honey on the side and stuff. And they're named after the characters in the books and movies.
Mm-hmm.
So one's like named Owl, one's whatever,
Piglet.
Piglet.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I don't really have much to say about this other than it is pretty good. It fits a lot for it being a kid ride.
Yes, because every time we go with our family,
They
there's
squeeze us
7 of
all
us,
in.
and it's usually 7 of us plus another couple, right?
No. It's only us.
And I'm always
Wait.
like, how are we all in here?
No. It's only us.
Okay,
Yes,
but yeah, they get quite a few people in there.
they
so
do.
It's always fun.
Yeah, but sometimes can kind of get weird if you're the only two. Like Caitlin and I'll get like with a big family, and we're just in the back, like, hey, we're part of your family for this ride. So
I feel bad because they're always trying to take pictures, and we're like, do we look or just
smile.
no?
All right, what's your number 3?
Okay, so number 3 is the ride vehicle. Drum roll, please. At Indiana Jones.
3.
I love that ride vehicle. The reason why I did number 3 is because there's constantly an issue with
Okay.
the ride vehicles.
Okay.
But there's just something about, first of all, the size alone of, is it considered like a Jeep kind of thing?
Well, it looks like a Jeep. It's definitely not a Jeep once you look at the tech involved.
So just to give you an idea, the size alone, you can fit 12 people on that ride.
Are you serious?
12. So there's 3 rows of 4, if I'm counting correctly. Yes, there's 4
Wow.
seats. And I was looking at kind of just pictures of the ride vehicle itself and just seeing like cast members stand by them. They are ginormous. And if you think about it, when you're loading, you're only seeing that top half of it. Once the ride vehicle pulls out, the tires are
They're
huge.
giant.
And just overall, as you're going through Indy, just how that ride vehicle kind of maneuvers and moves around, lifts you up on like the right side and then on the left side, just to kind of give you that bumpy just ride. It's just such an incredible, I don't know, just type of thing that you would sit in that basically goes through this whole thing. And it's just that it can do so many different variations of movement. I just love it. And just, again, size and the amount of people that it can fit through is just, it's nice. So that's my number 3.
That is a very good pick. I will not allude to where that fits on my list, but it's definitely there.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Thank you.
Number 3 for me is Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, so we're quite close.
We are really close. So again, Caitlin really went over all of it. The caterpillar is iconic. The colors, everything. The simple lap bars that don't crush you are nice too. I feel like some of these ride vehicles are like, they're like, here, let me cramp you in here, cronk.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
It's true.
Like they do that Big Thunder sometimes, and it makes me upset. But again, I'm a little biased since I do love the entire ride. It's like one of my favorites. But I think everyone will agree the ride vehicle is a national treasure. I mean, once you see those things, you know exactly what ride it belongs to.
Yep, and the
that is
sounds
Alice in Wonderland.
and everything.
Eat. When it's
Yeah.
like rolling. Yeah.
He's like, hello, my friends. Oh, it's so good.
What?
Remember?
I was talking about Alice. I was like, what are you talking about?
Thinking of Indy still.
I was like, okay. I didn't know Solomon made an appearance in Alice. People at home are like, what are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
I thought you were getting to like I was just so confused. I don't know. Like Cheshire Cat, maybe? I don't know.
Cheshire Cat said hello, my friends. That'd be a little weird.
Okay, moving on. You can tell Caitlin's in her own little world over there. What's your number 2 slot?
So my number 2 is the Jungle Cruise.
I can't get over that.
Stop.
I was like, hello, my friends. Okay, sorry. Number 2 is what?
Is the Jungle Cruise skipper boats.
Oh, this is good.
I love these. I mean, again, just the ride itself, you literally, to me, feel like you're going through the Amazon, and just the trees and the sounds and just everything that they've created. Now, I love the ride vehicles itself because it really makes me think about like if you were going to go on a literal jungle cruise, this is the boat that I see.
Yeah.
And again, it's probably because it's the only boat I've been on that looks like you're going through the jungle. But I just love the seating and like you can kind of sit around it. I love the theming. I love the names at the top, but also I really like that they do an overlay for the holidays. So like, for example, there was one that I pulled up. It said like for the holidays, it said Mistletoe Millie was like the name of the boat. And they'll put like little like ornaments and like garland on it. Like usually Disney doesn't do that to the actual ride vehicles.
Yeah.
So to get that little form of like holiday magic, like I just love that.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome.
that's mine.
Solid. That almost made the list. That probably
Really?
would have been my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Just because, again, they could have gone simple and cheap with like, honestly, a simple like, I'm not trying to like, I'm not digging Universal at all, but like they could have gone the way of like Jurassic Park ride, where it's just a flat like very
boat.
simple,
Yeah.
right? Whereas Jungle Cruise went for the full themed 1940s look, old. Like,
I love it. And
it's-
just the
yeah.
music that they play and just the sounds of the boat. I
Yeah,
love it.
I love how they have a diesel engine right there in the middle,
Yeah, it's
you know, covered up and
Yeah, and I remember when I was little, I used to think that the cast members were driving the boat, and I remember being like, "How are they doing this?"
yanking the, you know.
Yeah, it's so iconic.
It is
that's
good.
That's my number 2. What's yours?
Solid pick. My number 2 is Haunted Mansion.
Ooh, okay.
Doom buggies. Do I need to say any more? They have their own name. What other one do you just know automatically what it's called?
So I have to admit, I love that they have a name that did not make my list because I feel like they could do more.
I agree. They're very simple, but my argument as to why they're so amazing is that you don't need to draw a ton of attention to all of it's going on outside.
That's true.
Right? The ride itself is amazing. You don't need to add anything really inside. And this is where I'd argue that maybe it does. I know it's not part of the ride vehicle itself, but it does house the speakers that have the ghost host. What other ride has a narrator that follows you along in your ride vehicle.
I can't think of any.
Right?
That's pretty awesome.
So, I mean, that's like iconic in itself. So, again, it doesn't have to be crazy. The shape of it is awesome. It kind of keeps you immersed, right? It's kind of covering your peripheral a little bit. But anyways, and it's a fast loader. This is amazing. So the fact that you like go in, sit down, and it can run a lot of people through that ride in every single hour. And that's a huge deal for Imagineers. They want to get people in and out and still enjoy the ride.
That's such a good ride. And when you're talking about the ghost host kind of being in the speakers, there was one, just to show how important it is to have that, there was one time where ours didn't work.
Yes, that was so weird.
So bizarre to not hear anything because you're just so trained to hear him the whole time talking. So not having that was it kind of almost ruined it.
It did. So we walked off the ride. Caitlin and I were like, what is going on? Like, why is this not happening? And I asked, like, we could tell they're like the freaks in the family. So we asked my family, like, do you notice anything about the ride different?
Like, no.
Yeah. What? No.
Like, what?
There was no ghost host.
Yeah. And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
But like we immediately, because it's like right when they're saying like, we're going to bring the handlebar down. Like, we'll do it for you. And I'm like, that wasn't there.
I know.
So it was just, it's nice to have that.
Taking the day off.
Yeah.
All right. Number one spot, Caitlin, what is it?
So my number one is something that you've already mentioned, and it is the beehives at Winnie the Pooh.
All right. I should have known this. It's your favorite ride in the park.
It's my favorite ride. And, with all the variations of this ride, like with the honey pots or the beehives, this is my favorite one out of all of them. I like just kind of how big they are. I like the honey dripping from them. I love, like you mentioned, like the little names of each of them, like Winnie or Piglet.
Yeah.
And I love the back because it has like a little bumblebee. It almost looks like I think it's like a heffalump bumblebee.
Yes, it is. You're right.
So it's just like little things like that when you have like honey pots all around like the ride vehicle, like when you're loading. It's just like the full ambiance of that ride in general is just amazing. And again, I love the movement throughout. Like it's just an added thing where as they could have just done a vehicle that is flat on wheels and just doesn't move.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to have that. But that's definitely my number one. I'll probably cry if they ever get rid of that one.
I know.
Because that is literally my favorite ride.
If they ever do get rid of it, we will have to go on the black market, the Disney black market, and try and buy one of those ride vehicles.
Yeah.
We'll cash out our 401k. We'll sell all of our belongings, and we'll try and nail. That would be so cool to display. Now, what would we do with it? I don't know. We don't have room to put that anywhere.
We could like park it in the garage.
Yeah. We'd convert it to a vehicle. We get an engine put in it.
We're like driving to Disneyland. They're like,
Look at that sweet convertible. It's a honey pot.
It would be cool to convert it into like a little bed. Like a little like
for a kid.
A game or like a kiddo or like you could almost do like a game. I mean, I'm sure you don't want a honey pot or a beehive in your game room or anything, but
I would make it work.
That would be cool. But what's your number one? I'm very curious.
My number one is Indiana Jones.
Okay, I could see that.
Now again, even though I feel like I'm going to break my back, every single time on this ride, I'm going to get whiplash. Like it is intense.
Do you think? Okay, here's a question for you, really quick: Matterhorn or Indy? Which is the worst?
Matterhorn's worse because it's so jarring. It feels like your spinal cord is going to detach itself from your body.
That's true.
It like legit, I'm not kidding. It like if you have a headache, do not ride the Matterhorn. It will mess you up.
No, it will.
Mess you up. So Indiana Jones is just a little whippy, but it's manageable.
I think it's more controlled.
And it's fun. Yeah, like it is fun. Whereas the Matterhorn is not at all.
Right.
I
agree.
When you feel those bumps, you're like, this is not a part of the ride. It just happens to be, the state of the track because it's such an old ride, right? Anyways, let's get back to Indy. Again, the movement of the ride vehicle adds so much to the ride. I would argue if you took those out, the ride would not be as popular as it is.
I agree.
So if you, again, like we mentioned, if you put in a normal, really non-immersive, moving, living, basically ride vehicle in there, it would totally detract from the experience.
Well, imagine just going through that whole ride with, again, like I've mentioned, a Jeep on 4 wheels.
Yeah.
And not moving around. You're just going fast.
No.
It'd be different.
Way different.
Yeah.
So it simulates bumps. It simulates turns. It is honestly one of the most impressive ride vehicles ever created by Disney. And to show you, though, really quick, that it's funny. You take the ride vehicle out of the ride, it's not as good. You take the theming out of that ride vehicle, and it's not good. Perfect example, and I apologize for you dinosaur fans out there, but they had the same exact track layout, same exact ride vehicle over on the East Coast in Animal Kingdom with the ride dinosaur, and it is not even close to as fun as Indiana Jones.
It's a very confusing ride.
It is. I'm like, what happened? Did we travel through time? And then did the dinosaur make it? Did we save it?
I remember being like, this is the Jurassic Park ride.
Yes. Yeah, she kept asking the whole time, like, when are we going to see the like the T-Rex thing? And I was like, that's not in this ride.
Yeah, and you're like, what are you talking about?
So anyways, yes, Indiana Jones, it deserves all the praise it gets. The sensors on it are really finicky, and yes, the ride will shut down for an hour and a half because they have to reset everything because there's little proximity sensors, and if they get too close to each other, the ride does not like it and shuts itself down. So that's annoying, and it should lose some spots probably because of that, but I'm going to take that away because it is just an iconic deal.
Right.
It's the troop transport, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that was our list. Let us know what your favorites are. If we didn't name it, definitely let us know. If you agree with us, if you disagree, we'd love to hear your opinions on your favorite ride vehicles at Disneyland. We'll cover DCA in a later episode, but if you had fun, share this with a friend.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. If they're like, I need some more Disney in my life, send them Market House, and hopefully we can scratch that itch. Thank you so much for listening. You can find us over on Instagram at Market House Podcast. Make sure to follow us over there for pictures from the park, exciting news and announcements. And again, like we mentioned before, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Huge help to the show. And remember to use our Getaway Today link for your future trip bookings. Check out the episode details for that link. Join us next week for another episode. This has been Market House. Bye.